This is the last word, and I'm Maria Shakil. Several tourists were killed and many others injured in a terrorist attack in Pahalgam in Jammu and Kashmir today. Military choppers have been pressed into service for the evacuation of those injured in this attack. In a telephonic conversation, Prime Minister Narendra Modi asked Union Home Minister to visit the attack site and take all suitable measures. Mr. Shah will arrive shortly in Srinagar, and he will be holding a high-level security review meeting with all the agencies. Gunshots were heard in the upper meadows of Pahalgam's Baisar Valley, an area that is approachable only on foot or on horseback. The terrorists were apparently in camouflage, and it is believed to be a targeted attack. And soon after the attack, Home Minister Amit Shah called a meeting at his home in Delhi, which was attended by IB Chief and Union Home Secretary, CRPF Chief and Jammu and Kashmir Director General. Some army officials also joined through video conferencing. In fact, Mr. Shah also spoke to Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, Omar Abdullah, and Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha. An anti-terror operation has been launched to neutralize terrorists. That's what was informed by Mr. Sinha, and he has asserted that perpetrators of Pahalgam attack will have to pay a price, a very heavy price, for their heinous act. Let me get in reporters now who are joining us live. We have Nazir Masoodi joining us live on this broadcast for more details from the ground. We also have Aishwarya Jain. In just a few minutes, at the Jammu and Kashmir Raj Bhavan, a special meeting will be chaired by Home Minister Amit Shah. A word on that, Aishwarya. The big challenge for the government is to get the right numbers in terms of those who are injured, because the casualty numbers at present stand at 26.
Well, there are a few priorities for the officials and the concerned administration over there as well, to provide as soon as possible the medical aid to the injured ones, and also if there is a need to airlift a few of them, then how soon the security officials can reach over there, how to bring back peace and normalcy, and to take control of the entire area. And also there would be the priority, of course, to neutralize the terrorists and to recce around in that particular area. But as far as Home Ministry is concerned, and Home Minister Amit Shah, he would be landing very shortly in Srinagar and directly reaching at Raj Bhavan. We have been told the DIG, army officials, Jammu and Kashmir, Chief Secretary, there will be Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha, who had already was in Delhi and flew together with Home Minister Amit Shah. They all would be taking a security review meeting in Raj Bhavan itself, and there would be several other rounds of meetings that will be taking place overnight. Tomorrow, perhaps, there is in all likelihood possibility of Home Minister Amit Shah reaching to Pahalgam at the spot. But before that, the army officials who have been deployed in major number wanted to take control of the entire area and to neutralize the terrorists over there as well. Remember, the government of India had time and again stated that they have zero tolerance policy against terrorism, and that's the first priority of the Home Minister Amit Shah, who would be soon landing in Srinagar.
Aishwarya, thank you so much for joining us. Nazir, as someone who has covered Jammu and Kashmir for decades, would you say that this is the worst terror attack in recent memory in what is clearly Naya Kashmir?
The magnitude of attack tells us the response would not be just an operation in Pahalgam. It may go beyond Pahalgam, beyond Valley also. Because clearly what has happened is unimaginable. Perhaps the response may be the same. What I am seeing here behind me, the number of ambulances and the security men, and the number of ambulances tells us the casualties also. The sorties, army helicopters, choppers have made tells us the number of casualties. What we are hearing from the source is 26. And we only hope it is only that, doesn't go beyond that. But the way innocent people were killed today in Pahalgam's Baisaran meadow, it clearly shows that the attack is beyond killing these innocent people. It is telling tourists, don't come to Kashmir. It doesn't belong to you. It doesn't belong to you. That has been if you hear recently what Pakistan's army chief said, it is our jugular vein. And following that, we see this major attack. And militancy is not something new. It is not the first attack, but there was a halt. And also there was an unwritten rule. They will not touch tourists because it is not just killing the innocent tourists, it is killing the economy of people, image of Kashmir, destroying it. And it is me, it is anyone, any other Kashmiri. So this attack it is not just in the magnitude, the number of people who have been killed, over a dozen who are injured, they have been shifted to hospital. Home Minister himself coming all the way from Delhi, reaching here. He may have reached by now to Srinagar, chairing a security review meeting, then may visit here also Pahalgam. This also shows the seriousness with which the government of India has taken it. Prime Minister himself calling Home Minister from Saudi Arabia, and that shows it has been taken very, very seriously at the highest level, and the amount of condemnation, and more importantly, why this day was chosen. American US Vice President is in India. And remember, in March 2000, 35 Sikhs were killed in Singhpura by terrorists that time. And that time, US President Bill Clinton was in India.
All right, Nazir, thank you for that quick update. Let's bring in the guests who are joining us at this hour. Lieutenant General Shankar Prasad is a defense expert. We also have Major General Gigi Dwivedi joining us. We have Major General Sanjay Soi joining us. Lieutenant General Prasad, let me begin with you. 4 days ago, Pakistan Army Chief called Kashmir jugular vein, and he invoked the two-nation theory. Yesterday, the government of India announced that on 3rd of July is when the entire Amarnath Yatra will begin. You have a situation where the US Vice President, J.D. Vance, is in India. He arrived yesterday. And now this terror attack. It's high on messaging.
Absolutely correct. First of all, a most terrible incident has happened in Kashmir. And if you really realize, it's after a long time that a large number of civilians have been targeted. What is important to note is that in the last few months, the tourism in Kashmir, the normalcy in Kashmir, particularly the valley, had come back to pretty much normal. In fact, if you recently remember, when the tulip gardens were opened, a large number of tourists visited Kashmir. And throughout this whole summer, which is forthcoming, the tourists are all wanting to go to Kashmir. And of course, the Amarnath Yatra along the Pahalgam route, where the Chhatri Mubarak goes from, is also just round the corner. So there is one aspect of what is happening in Kashmir. There is statehood just about to arrive. There is normalcy as claimed by the Home Minister recently. And another statement by the Raksha Mantri very recently to say that Pakistan occupied Kashmir will very soon join India on its own accord because they are in a miserable state. And when they see the situation inside the Indian Kashmir, they really want to become something like us, have some kind of development and all the rest of it that they watch in this part of the world. The second important thing which you must also understand is this, that what is the internal situation in Pakistan? The internal situation in Pakistan is only deteriorating by the day. The rift between the so-called elected political masters and the military, who actually control the government in Pakistan, are having a bigger rift, which is very clearly visible from the statement of General Munir. And just a little one or two words about his background. General Munir comes from a family. His father was a imam in one of the mosques. His earlier education has been all along the seminaries of Islam, and he only has been educated on the jihad system, on the Quran, and say everybody else other than Muslims are infidels and they have to be removed. So that's the kind of mindset the army chief has got. And also to say, last statement which you've repeated many times on television as well, is the jugular vein. Therefore, we have to see what is the atmosphere in Pakistan Army, what's the atmosphere in Pakistan itself, and what is the state of affairs in India and how India is progressing towards peace, prosperity, tourism, and all the rest of it. Which is why this most horrific incident. You've been reporting on television that they're identifying and certifying that these are Hindus. They're getting their names, they're checking their identity cards and then killing them. It's the most drastically attacked. Now, what is the response? The options are many. The options are many which have to be discussed in great detail. This is something that cannot happen to overnight, that should not happen overnight. There should not be a very impulsive reaction to it. This is a serious matter, requires a serious response of a long-term nature, of a decisive nature, which means the intelligence agencies, which means the political powers in the country, which means the overall general environment in the world today, and also how the security forces, the armed forces, the other military forces look at it. So it is going to be a very serious and a combined effort. After a lot of discussion and deliberation, a strategy will have to be evolved, which I leave it to the government of India. We outside cannot really understand what kind of strategy the government is going to adopt, particularly in the light of the statements that are going around the globe today. This is not an era of war. So war is one aspect. I'm not saying anything about war happening or not happening. I'm just stating the current issues which are in public domain. This is not an era of war. This is an era of negotiation. But this kind of response requires perhaps something like what Israel is doing. This is a major terrorist incident similar to what happened on 7th October in Israel and what the Hamas did. Is it not similar? Of course, the numbers were larger and the number is not smaller even here. And specifically, when looking at terrorists who are looking at or innocent civilians who are visiting that place to enjoy themselves in summer vacations. So it's a very complex situation. It has international ramifications. It has internal issues. It has politics in it. It has economy in it. It is the responses that will. So I would just say that it is a very complex situation. The answer is a response will have to be given. Response will be given. In what kind, in what manner, and what time.
Yes.
Famous saying of the Indian government: we will choose the date, time, and place
if you
as
look
to
at,
how we're going to do it.
If you look at the Prime Minister's words, these were strong words. Prime Minister said that their evil agenda will never succeed. Our resolve to fight terrorism is unshakable and it will get even stronger. You know, when it is about sending that message, India will send that message.
Of course,
Major
yes, there is
General
no
G.
doubt about
Dwivedi.
that.
Yes, it
I
will
have no
be
doubt
done
about
at the
that.
time and
A
place
strong
of
message
India's
will go.
choosing.
But how strong, how
strong?
at what time, in what manner, that's
Yes.
something we've taken a very seriously worked out by the very important people that are holding these top jobs in the government, the politicians, the military, the bureaucrats, just all of them.
Yes.
And therefore the response has to be there. Response has to be meaningful. It has to be strong. It has to send a message across. But then it'll have to be very carefully orchestrated, very carefully worked out. But the final word is our response will go, our response will be there if it will be made very effective, which Pakistan will understand what the government of India means.
Yes, absolutely. Major General Dwivedi, coming to you now, you know, the messaging that has come is very clear. The timing of the attack, as we discussed, this is a dastardly attack, an act of cowardice. But overall, the timing which has been chosen is very well, it's after a lot of thought and planning, which is becoming clear. And it's the tourists who have been targeted, particularly keeping in mind that post the abrogation of Article 370, there has been almost near peace in Jammu and Kashmir. A couple of years ago, I was in Pahalgam. I mean, there was a huge transition that you witnessed in terms of the tourist footfalls that had gone up suddenly as well. So that was those who were trying to script Naya Kashmir. The people from several parts of India were traveling to Kashmir, and now the tourists being targeted, it's a message that they should not visit Kashmir.
Well, Maria, first and foremost, my heartfelt condolences with those who have lost their lives and their bereaved family, and also the prayers for those who have been injured. Having said that, well, I'll tackle your question in two parts. First and foremost, the immediate issue that is at hand. And that issue is that we should try to save the lives of injured, make all efforts. And secondly, this operation must ensure that all those who have perpetrated this dastardly act are actually eliminated, no less than that. But we need to take a bigger picture, and having done multiple tenures in Kashmir, in the valley, and also I just visited only a few months back, that the point is that these actions cannot be taken as cross-border terrorism alone. It's a proxy war by Pakistan which has been orchestrated since 1990, and it is about 3.5 decades now. And we have been largely acting on case by case basis, and most so as reactions. Yes, definitely in the valley things had improved after abrogation of 370, but the proxy war tactics by Pakistan have constantly changed. They have gone to south of Pir Panjal last 3 years. The major operations have taken place in Rajouri, in the Poonch area, Kachua. So therefore, the point is that we need to take a holistic review and review our policy, because this has to be whole of nation approach. That means that all elements of the national park must be brought in to defeat this proxy war. In that, I think two, three issues are very important. First and foremost, you cannot defeat the war on your own soil. This battle has to be carried right into Pakistan, where the source of the terrorism, where the source of these, infiltrators, that is need to be addressed. And secondly, we need to understand that it's the doctrine of Pakistan. Their chief had just only 3, 4 days back had amplified on the doctrine, which requires no repetition. So we need to defeat this doctrine of Pakistan, and this need to be in the multiple front. Economically, we need to squeeze Pakistan. We need to help out the Pakistan brethren who are fighting for their independence, be it be in Baluchistan, be it be in POK. We need to help them out and ensure that we need to pay back in the same coin. And third point is that internally, there are certain elements which are helping out such operations. Well, we need to fine tune the internal part. And my last thing is, I don't think this ceasefire is doing any good. In fact, when I was the brigade commander in this area, the ceasefire was, it was activated, but it had to be abrogated because ceasefire gives total immunity to Pakistan army. We are not able to punish them. Therefore, I think we need to take a total review, have a fresh policy, ensure that it is proactive. Pakistan is made to pay the price, and this has to be both in the kinetic and in the non-kinetic means. Maria.
You're looking at this because it certainly is a developing situation right now. The death toll stands at 26. We are yet to get details in terms of the identity of those who have lost their lives. They were mostly tourists and civilians is what we are being told. But this is an act of terror which is evil in nature at the same time, because they realize that by targeting tourists and outsiders, just as they did when we used to say a few months ago that the entire act of terror is perhaps shifting away from South Kashmir towards Jammu region, because the targeting was happening in that range, the Pir Panjal range. Now there is a new form of terror which we are witnessing.
Yeah, absolutely, Maria. In fact, I would say it is an evil attack, very sad incident. But I think this is not the time for condemning. It is time for act. And we have been condemning enough. And it is not a cowardly act. It is a well-planned act. It is timing, the time of attack, targeted killing, everything is planned, because what you rightly brought out is the kind of development which is taking place in Kashmir. Last year, about 2 crore 35 lakh tourists visited Jammu and Kashmir, out of which 35 lakhs visited Kashmir, and 43,000 were foreign tourists. It showed the faith, it showed the tranquility, it showed the peace, and it also brought economic development to the people of Kashmir. The stone throwing has stopped. The people were supporting security forces. They understood the meaning of their children going to school, the offices opening, the colleges working, industry working. I mean, this was not palatable, and this is the cowardly act. Aim is, I would say, who is going to be the loser? The people of Kashmir are going to be the loser if this kind of activity continues. And because the way tourists were going, hotels were full, flights were full, houseboats were full, and they are trying to send a message that this place is not safe. Especially when Vice President of America is visiting, Prime Minister in Saudi Arabia. Sir, they are trying to internationalize the issue, which probably they don't understand that the whole world knows the G20 summit had taken place, the people had visited, and it is in time of social media, everybody knows the ground reality. So, but the fact is, I'm happy. Importance government is giving. Prime Minister gave a call, and Minister leaving everything, whatever was the due or pending, left everything, immediately moved to Kashmir. It shows that yes, I think it means that some action is in hand, and it will not be very slow, but it will be a planned action. Where General Shankar Prasad had said that yes, time and place would be of choosing, so that when we impact, when we take action, the perpetrator of terrorists must pay the expensive price. They should we have to make it expensive for them. These terrorists are just pawn in their hands. So ultimately, while might be doing jungle bashing and trying to kill these guys, but I feel that we need to handle the people who are sending them, who are training them, who are motivating them. They need to be tackled both, as other speakers had mentioned, kinetically and non-kinetically, diplomatically, politically, internationally, and militarily. All kinds of actions are required. Otherwise, we have to do it. There's no question of not doing it. Life of 26, or now I think it is 27 people losing their life, innocent people. It's not, it cannot be taken easy, lying down. And especially, they are trying to send a message. Yes, we are still there, and this has to be taken very urgently and seriously. Maria.
Absolutely. Absolutely, no denying that, because Lieutenant General Shankar Prasad, they targeted laborers, they targeted teachers, all those who spoke for Kashmir, who spoke for peace, all those who believed in the idea that post the abrogation of Article 370, it will be a new Kashmir which will believe in peace, where the youngsters will be moving away from pelting stones. They will be perhaps, only on Friday, Lieutenant General Shankar Prasad, there was that screening which happened in Srinagar. So the messaging was loud and clear that the new Kashmir and the people of Kashmir was embracing peace. They believed in the idea of peace, and now that has been shaken.
You're absolutely correct. The main issue is what has been targeted. It's tourism that's been targeted. What is the real base of economy in Kashmir? Is tourism. The people come from all over the world. A large number of Indians wants to visit Kashmir, and this is the time when it's going to only peak further in the summer months. When the schools are closed, people go on a holiday. So the number of tourists that were expected to go to Kashmir in the next 2 to 3 months before the monsoon sets in was huge. The reservations in various facilities, hotels, houseboats, guest houses, etc., was completely full. That is all going to suffer. So not only have lives been lost, which is very precious, there is huge economic backlash of all of this. That the economy which is flourishing on tourism is going to have a major effect. The question today really is hitting all of us is, what is the response? How soon is the response? How serious is the response? What are we really going to do about it? The militancy in Kashmir has to be removed. Are there still a large number of pockets which are sympathizers with the militants? Are there a large number of people who are agents of Pakistan, ISI, still sitting inside Indian territory and orchestrating all of it? These are multiple issues. It's not a simple problem, Arya. We've been dealing with it for the last 30, 40 years in a very serious matter. All of us who are on the panel today have had a number of tenures in Kashmir and gone through each one of these aspects. But the important point today is the message that has gone out is hitting tourism, hitting economy of Kashmir, hitting economy of local people, which is what is really important to understand as to the timing. And of course, the other issue is within the internal issue of Pakistan, as I said in the first presentation. The serious situation in Pakistan is evolving.
Absolutely.
And there is again a big tussle between the military and the civil.
Yes.
And the military has to exercise this in their option, because if they don't, their primacy in this loses. They lose control over the government, which the Pakistan Army General would never allow.
All right.
Therefore, There are two distinct compartments in which we have to appreciate it, and the response of Indian government will go. The only thing I say and pray that strong message must go. How it will go, it will all depend on serious people.
These are the visuals now coming
people
in.
Who are working in government.
Home Minister Amit Shah has arrived at the Srinagar airport. Omar Abdullah, the Chief Minister, received him, and he is heading straight to the Raj Bhavan, where there will be an important high-level meeting which will be chaired by him. Lieutenant General Shankar Prasad, Major General G.G. Dwivedi, Major General Sanjay Soy, appreciate your time. Let me bring in Nazir Masoodi. Nazir, it's a very difficult time for India and for Jammu and Kashmir in particular. It's an act of terror, an act of, a dastardly attack as we are calling it. Now, what will be the response of the government of India is something that will be watched out for with the arrival of Home Minister Amit Shah himself in Srinagar.
Well, it's a massacre of innocent people who have come from different parts of the country, and they were killed here. And it is the second, it's another Pulwama type attack. That time the target was security forces. This time the target is innocent people, sending the message that don't come to Kashmir. Tourism defined the peace, prosperity and development in Kashmir. And it is attack on that, and the innocent people have become the victim. The sheer number of here ambulances tell us the story, magnitude of the tragedy here in Pahalgam. Either you see here ambulances or the security force here, which are here showing. Initially, police was completely tight-lipped. They were not telling us, but now officially it is unofficially. They have not given a formal statement, but 26 innocent tourists have been killed. This is the worst type of attack, terror attack in the valley. That too on a tourist, it was a red line. And we'll have to see what would be the response of the government. Since it has been taken up at the highest level, Prime Minister has spoken to the Home Minister, and Home Minister has already reached Srinagar. It shows the seriousness with which center is taking this issue, and clearly terrorists want to send a message beyond this Pahalgam, and clearly the response would be also beyond Pahalgam. It would not be just the coordinated search operation and killing just those militants who are involved, because it's not them. The real problem is somewhere else. We only see symptoms here in the valley. So we'll have to see what would be the response, but it has shaken everybody in the valley. Tourists are not just tourists. They're friends of Kashmir. They reimagine Kashmir. They make it better place. And these people were having a fun at Baisaran Meadow, and they were ruthlessly killed. It was a huge massacre of innocent people. And it's going to be a long, long night for the families of those who lost their lives. They don't know what has happened to them, because officially no name has come. I could see several people here moving around and saying, what has happened? Nobody has an answer, because the tragedy is still unfolding. Nobody knows the exact number, but
It's
what we know is
heartbreaking.
26 have been killed.
It's
really
heartbreaking, Nazir, what has happened in Kashmir. It's a long night, long night, not just for Kashmir, its people, security agencies, but also for India, as the response of India will be watched out for. Sources saying that 26 people have lost their lives. Most of them are tourists who were there vacationing in Pahalgam. Remember, it's one of the most beautiful destinations. It's often called the Jannat of the entire world on earth. And now Home Minister Amit Shah arriving there, he was received by Chief Minister Omar Abdullah. He's heading straight to the Raj Bhavan. That's where the high-level security meeting will be chaired.